Jeff, can you hear me? Check one.
Check, check, check. I can hear you, Mike.
Awesome, I can hear you. Looks like we have a call, and we're streaming live. Mics are hot, and trying to get everything all situated here. Music coming down now, and here we go.
You want to count me in?
You're in. Go ahead. We're live.
Underway, Marauder softball here on SoCalCollegeSports.com. First of two games for each of these teams. And a three-team doubleheader. Antelope Valley College taking on the visiting Taft College Cougars. Leading things off, it's Alicia Pompa for Taft College. Coming up later today at 2 o'clock, Antelope Valley College will be back in action against Rio Hondo. We'll have that game for you. Outside for a ball from the starter, Emily Serra. On the mound for AVC. We'll go over the defense for you shortly. With Pompa at the plate, a freshman out of Shafter High School in Shafter, California. On the ground, right side. Try to get the picture for you momentarily. As Pompa retired, or I should say Pompa safe at first, with a base hit. So the leadoff batter aboard for Taft. Cougars come in as Sarah misses, or no, gets the call on the outside corner. I can see this is going to be one of the ones with a slightly delayed call on the balls and strikes behind the plate, so I will have to discipline myself accordingly. No balls and a strike. High and outside, count evened up at a ball and a strike on Ariana Forthman. Forthman, another freshman out of Ridgeview High School in Bakersfield. Just underway, top of the first. Breaking ball outside, 2 balls and a strike on Forthman.
We'll have the
Started to mention Taft comes in with a record of 10-22 overall on the season. They're 4-8 in conference play in the Central Valley Conference. But Taft comes in as Forthman goes after the rise ball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taft comes in having won 3 straight. Picking it up over the last week, particularly behind some strong pitching. Over their last 4 games, really, they lost 2-1 before embarking on the 3-game win streak. But they have started to get it together in the circle, and it's led to some wins. So they come in playing well. And of course, AVC having an outstanding season, 21-8 overall, 7-1 in conference play, 2-2 on Forthman. Cold strike 3. Forthman down on strikes. Sarah gets her first punch out of the day. Haley Johnson starting in left field, Ariel Nieto in center, Trinity Holman in right. The infield, Savannah Cervantes at third, Denise Carrillo at short, Amy Manzo at second, Victoria Alcantar at first, Natalie Gomez behind the plate, and Emily Serra in the circle. First pitch, the fastball outside, no, called strike 1. Alexis Garay is the batter. Garay, in her freshman season out of Centennial High School. Another player coming out of Bakersfield. There are 5 players on the small Taft roster. They come from Bakersfield. A ball and a strike on Garay. With Haley Daniker waiting on deck. Give me the numbers on Sarah. Comes in making her 8th appearance on the season. I should say her 8th start on the season, her 14th appearance overall. Her record an outstanding one, 7-1, an ERA of 4.43. In 53 2/3 innings, she's allowed 64 hits, walked 36, struck out 61. Ball and a strike on Garay. Up high, 2 balls and a strike. Looks like Sarah going back to the rise ball that she used to good effect in getting Forthman moments ago. 2-1 pitch. Wave and a miss. Nope, that was 2-2. Okay, I lost track of a pitch there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Sarah. So 2 down. And that'll bring up Daniker.
Coming to bat, the catcher.
Taft trying to do something with the leadoff single from Pampa. But so far, Sarah has settled down, fanning Forthman and Garay. She's 1 out away from getting out of it. On the outside corner, called strike 1. On Daniker, a freshman out of Taft High School in Lincoln City, Oregon. Sarah rocks and fires, breaking ball and the bunt foul. And now Daniker in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Sounds like a windy day in Lancaster.
It is.
I know Mike and the SoCal College sports team are out there, and I'm hoping as Sarah gets Daniker on strikes that you guys missed the 100-plus degree temperatures that we had the last few days around here. I'm sure that was made for some steamy conditions in Lancaster. Hopefully it broke a little bit for you today as Sarah strikes out the side, gets out of the top of the first, no score. Taft, nothing. Antelope Valley coming to bat on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Sophomore Ariel Nieto will lead things off, to be followed by Haley Johnson and Savannah Cervantes against the right-hander Emma Silva in the circle for the Cougars. Silva ready, rocks and fires. High with the first offering, a ball and no strikes to Nieto out of Highland High School. She'll try to get things going against Silva, who has been in the circle during this recent win streak. 3 straight wins for Silva, as the Cougars are getting things going under their head coach Gabrielle Brixey in her 4th season at the helm. A ball and a strike on Nieto. Silva kicks and delivers. Tries the breaking ball and misses low. 2 balls and a strike. Nieto will trying to get things going for this potent Marauder offense. They're in the top 10 as a team in batting average, top 5 in home runs. Ripped into center field, deep drive. This will one-hop the wall. Nieto will cruise into second. It's a leadoff double as Nieto barrels it up to straightaway center, and this one out over the plate. And Ariel Nieto delivers to get things going. Just as I was going over the offensive accolades for Nieto, that's her 9th double on the season. And the Marauders get things going immediately. That'll bring up Haley Johnson. Johnson stands in from the left side. Silva ready. Goes for the bunt, and that one back to the screen. That was good location from Silva coming up and in with a rise ball. And that's a tough ball for Johnson to handle. It's going to be a very difficult ball to get down. And this is a situation where clearly Johnson, one way or another, would love to get this one to the right side to move the runner over. Should say to the left side. Outside a ball and a strike on Johnson. So whether she's swinging away or looking to bunt, they'd love to get Nieto over with Cervantes waiting on deck. Ball and a strike. Squares once again. And again back to the screen. You see good stuff from Silva. Tough to get on top of that ball and get it down. That's 2 straight bumped back to the screen. And now a decision for Coach Cindy Vargas with a count of a ball and 2 strikes on what to do with Johnson. Fastball just high, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Johnson, a freshman out of Quartz Hill High School in Lancaster. Low and outside, full count on Johnson, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And I know there's a tendency with first base open in this situation, if you're Silva, to think, well, you have that option, but you really don't want to start putting runners on base. This is a potent Marauder lineup, particularly in the heart of that order, just inside. Johnson aboard. That's a great at-bat from Haley Johnson. She was down to the count of ball and 2 strikes, but took a couple of pitches just outside the strike zone and was able to eventually work the walk. That's a tremendous eye from Haley Johnson. 2 on, nobody out, and that'll bring up Cervantes. Cervantes, a freshman out of Buena High School in Ventura. And she has an opportunity to get the Marauders on top early as they bat in the bottom of the first. Silva in a jam. Off speed on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. Genesis Acosta in left. Kylie Lyons in center. Emily Bagdanoff in right for the Cougars. The 0-1 from Silva. High fly ball. Center field. It's deep. It's to the wall. It's gone. Savannah Cervantes, mentioned briefly at the beginning of this inning. The potent lineup and the home run is a big part of it for the Marauders. They're top 5 in the entire 3C2A. And as a team, that's their 24th home run on the season. And what a start for AVC. Cervantes, that's her 3rd home run. And it's a 3-run shot that gives her 36 runs batted in. That leads the team.
Next up for Antelope Valley College.
Well, you can't draw it up a whole lot better than that if you're AVC. First 2 on, and Cervantes goes downtown. And the lead is 3-0. And now if you're Emma Silva, you just have to find a way to reset and go back to work. First pitch in for a strike. No balls and a strike on Nayeli Delgado.
Jeff, going to be very important today for the pitchers to try to keep the balls on the ground. Anything in play in the air could be a real problem with the wind blowing out. You can see the flag here in center field really blowing out.
Yeah, and the flag is a great indicator, and that ball that Cervantes hit is a pretty good indicator as well, because that was a high fly ball. And she got it up in the wind, and it just kept right on carrying it. and went out to straightaway center. Meanwhile, Silva gets the strikeout on Delgado for the first out here in the bottom of the first. Quick start for the Marauders, and Amy Manzo will be the batter. Manzo, a sophomore out of Pete Knight High School in Palmdale, and she will stand in from the right side. Silva rocks and fires and blows the fastball by Manzo.
Can we set this stuff down and just grab this table right here? Okay.
0-1 on Manzo. Sharply hit ball on the right side, but Procell is there and will go to first to retire Manzo. Let's go over the Cougar defense on the infield. Kaylee Beltran at third, Alicia Pampa at short, and Procell at second. Ariana Fourthman at first, Haley Daniker behind the plate, and Emma Silva on the mound. 2 down, bases empty, and Denise Carrillo will be the batter. Emma Silva making her 19th appearance on the season, or I should say her 19th start, her 30th appearance. Her record now 6-11. Rise ball inside, 4 a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes. In 144 innings, Silva's allowed 192 hits, walked 42, struck out 109, the ERA 3.69. So Silva's been solid, and as we mentioned, hot of late with 3 straight wins in her last 3 starts. But she will have a tough assignment today against this Marauder lineup, and she's already down 3-0. Working to Carrillo, the shortstop for the Marauders. Soft liner, just foul. 2 strikes and a ball now on Carrillo. Trinity Holman would be next if Carrillo can keep it alive. Again, later today, AVC back in action. They'll be taking on Rio Hondo, the 3rd team in this triple header. Here today from Lancaster. That one chopped foul, a ball and 2 strikes on Carrillo. AVC 7-1 in conference play in the Western State North. A game behind the undefeated Renegades of Bakersfield College. Called strike 3. Nice job by Silva to settle down after the shaky start, but the Marauders get the work done thanks to Savannah Cervantes. And this shot to straightaway center through 1. AVC on top 3-0. Emily Bagdanoff to be followed by Ann Procell and Emma Silva. In the top of the 2nd inning, first pitch swung on, slow roller, and it's going to slip through into left for a base hit. Off places it perfectly, and for the 2nd inning in a row, Taft has the leadoff batter aboard. Sarah was able to work out of the first with no problem, striking out the side after giving up the leadoff single to Pampa. So she'll work to Procell with a runner on. as Ann Procell stands in from the right side. Sarah in the circle and ready to go. Rise ball and Procell late going after that one. Procell, a freshman out of Golden Valley High School in Bakersfield. 0-1 the count. Sarah ready, rocks and fires, and right back to the rise ball. And again, Procell late getting after that one, able to foul it away. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Let's see if Sarah elects to keep going with what's working. Has Procell in a hole now, no balls and 2 strikes. Foul territory and out of play. 0-2 on Procell. Non-conference doubleheader for these 3 teams today from Lancaster. Back to the rise ball, but a tie. A ball and 2 strikes on Ann Procell. Procell comes in batting .257 on the season. Sarah going off speed, misses low and inside. Count evened up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Taft as a team, 29 stolen bases on the season in 38 attempts. Nobody going. Off the end of the bat, back to the circle. Over to second for 1. The relay, not in time. Procell hustling down the line, able to leg it out, go down as a fielder's choice. 1 down, a runner at first. That's a nice job fielding in the circle by Sarah. Delivers a strike to second, but Procell able to just beat the relay. 1 out, 1 on. That'll bring up Silva. Going to try and help her own cause. Emma Silva, a freshman out of East Union High School in Stockton. Inside a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Silva. Silva comes in batting .279. No home runs, 8 runs batted in. 104 at-bats on the season for Emma Silva, who's also the #1 starter in the circle for Taft, but clearly a wreck in the lineup as well. A ball and a strike the count on Silva, with Beltran waiting in the on-deck circle. The 1-1 back to the screen. Good cut for Silva. And the count now 1-2. Sarah ready. Off speed, chopped, just foul. Nearly placed perfectly by Silva over the head of Cervantes, but just fouled. 1-2 the count. Sarah ready. Low for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Sarah figures to get a pretty long stretch in the circle with another game scheduled at 2, where I imagine we might see Alcantar line to first. This is going to be a double play, as Alcantar will take it herself and double off Procell to end the inning. No chance for Ann Procell, as Silva lines it, but Alcantar right there. Marauders out of the inning, no runs, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left on base, heading to the bottom of the second. AVC on top, 3-0 Marauder softball on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Trinity Holman, Victoria Alcantar, Natalie Gomez due up for the Marauders in the bottom of the second against right-hander Emma Silva, with AVC leading at 3-0. There is Trinity Holman. Breaking ball from Silva, low for a ball. Holman, outstanding sophomore out of Highland High School in Palmdale. Ahead in the count, a ball and no strikes. Shows bunt, now pulls it back. Change at the knees. A ball and a strike on Holman. Silva ready into the wind. Fastball on the inside corner. Holman down in the count now, a ball and 2 strikes. Holman comes in batting .307, 6 home runs, 23 runs batted in. 2-2 the count. Fastball ripped into center field. This is going to be in the gap. Holman rounding second, or I should say rounding first. She'll make it to second easily. Third extra base hit in 1+ against Emma Silva. A double for Holman to get things started. Shades of the top of the first inning where Nieto doubled and eventually scored on the home run by Cervantes. For Holman, that's her 5th double on the season. And the Marauders back in business with Alcantar coming to the plate. Lays one down out in front of the circle. Beltran going to go to first. To get Alcantar, they'll throw to third, but they won't get Holman, who advances on the sacrifice by Victoria Alcantar. A runner at third, 1 out. And Natalie Gomez coming to the plate. Golden opportunity for the Marauders to extend on the lead. There is Gomez out of Highland High School. She's a freshman from Palmdale. First pitch from Silva. Change over for a strike. We've seen a good assortment from Emma Silva here in the first 1 1/3. But the Marauders have been able to turn some of them around. Squeeze playing this one foul. So Coach Vargas shaking things up a little bit, but Gomez can't get that one down. No balls and 2 strikes on Natalie Gomez. Silva ready. Rise ball just outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seen the good rise ball from Silva. Moments ago, we saw the change. Mix in some breaking stuff as well, but this Marauder lineup, up and down the lineup, presents such a problem. Meanwhile, that one just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Silva continues to work quickly. 2-2 pitch. Popped up. Shallow. Some trouble working against the sun, and that one eventually drops. And Holman going to come home to score. See if that goes down as a base hit. I should say battling the sun, and that is always something of an issue here in Lancaster. But truth be told, as you see the flag perhaps just momentarily from the shot behind home plate, it's really the wind that is the primary issue, perhaps even more so than anything with the sun. It's blowing strongly to right center, and we saw that ball move on Pampa from straightaway short, maybe even a little bit toward third, back decidedly to her left and back towards second base before it eventually dropped. That was a hard ball to handle. And Gomez is aboard on the bloop single. You get one up in the air, it's going to be trouble. Line drive, right field moving in, but Bogdanoff cannot make the catch. She was there and had it momentarily. It just slips away. And that's a great job by Gomez, who was able to make it to second. That's a bang-bang play, but Bogdanoff gets there quickly, and oftentimes, even if she can't come up with it cleanly, she's going to have a chance at the fourth. But a great jump from Gomez. And Gomez is able to get to second.
See where all the other ones are going?
So runners at first and still only one out. And the batter will be Haley Johnson.
That'll go there.
So this has been a lot about the potent bats in the lineup for AVC, and now it's a little bit of just plain bad luck for Taft. The pop-up that moves in the wind and eventually drops, and then the sinking line drive that Bogdanoff can't quite handle. A couple of balls that maybe could have gone the other way and been outs for Taft, and maybe they're out of the inning, and instead it's 4-0. There's 2 on, and there's still only 1 out. Called strike on the outside corner. A ball and a strike on Johnson. Johnson drew a walk her first time up, 2 balls and a strike. Johnson coming in, batting .300 on the season, no home runs, 11 runs batted in. A chance for AVC to really take control early in this one. They already lead at 4-0, but they have 2 on. One hopper to short. It's off of Pampa and over towards second. Everybody's going to be safe. That's a tough play for Alicia Pampa. This ball's well hit. And Pampa can't quite come up with it cleanly. Does manage to knock it down, but it squirts far enough away that they don't have any chance of getting anybody. Now the bases are juiced, and that'll bring up Cervantes, who's already homered. What an opportunity for Savannah Cervantes. 3-run shot her first time up. Silva in all kinds of trouble. Breaking ball gets the called strike. No balls and a strike on Cervantes. Well, this is as tough as it gets if you're Emma Silva. Cervantes already took one out to straightaway center. You can't afford to miss. Fastball, and she's quickly ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. Cervantes for the power. 3 home runs. 13 walks on the season. Just 5 strikeouts. Silva looking for one here. Just outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cervantes already leads the team with 36 runs batted in on the season, and she's got a big-time opportunity here with the bases loaded and only 1 out. Shot back through the box. That's a base hit. 1 run will score. Throw coming in from center, not in time. It's a 2-run single for Cervantes, and AVC pushes the lead to 6-0. Well, that was the speedy Ariel Nieto at second. And she gets a good jump. This is a pretty good throw from Kylie Lyons, but just not much chance with that jump from Nieto that you're going to be able to get her at the plate. On the single by Cervantes, who now has 5 runs batted in, and AVC pushes the lead to 6-0, and they're still going with Delgado at the plate, runners at the corners. Breaking ball, late break for second, and they had a chance at Cervantes, but I think there was miscommunication between Procel and Pampa on who was going to take the throw. Meanwhile, it works out to be a double steal as Cervantes steals second, and Johnson on the throw as that ball skips away is able to break from third and score. So the lead is 7-0. Cervantes at second. Still only 1 out. And Delgado at the plate. Off speed, high for a ball. Well, we saw the squeeze earlier. Now the double steal. So the Marauders pulling out all the stops. Off to a quick start. The Marauders themselves looking to continue a win streak. They've won their last 5. And they're well on their way to making it 6. Delgado struck out her first time up. 1-2 the count. Silva with a long look, ready to go. Here's the 1-2. Good cut from Delgado. That looked like an off-speed pitch, a little up in the zone, but fortunately for Silva and the Cougars, it was just enough up and out of the zone that Delgado couldn't quite square it up. 1-2 pitch. Boy, just missed. Hard to say if that was a little high or a little outside, but I won't lie to you. I think on a couple of pitches here, Emma Silva might have gotten squeezed just a bit, and that hasn't helped. Meanwhile, the wild pitch squirts away from Daneker, and Cervantes able to easily make it to third.
Get rid of that and you're all set.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Delgado, with Cervantes at first, or I should say at third. Already rocks and fires. Another base hit. Delgado singles scoring Cervantes. The lead is now 8-0. Still only 1 out. On the play, Delgado able to take second as the throw came in. So another runner in scoring position as the Marauders pour it on here in the bottom of the second inning. Manzo, the 8th batter of the inning for the Marauders. Change called strike 1. No balls and a strike. Silva into the wind.
Fair ball off the bag.
Roped, fair ball. Another run for the Marauders on the double by Manzo, who places it perfectly down the left field line. We'll take one more look at this. Another ball a little bit up in the zone. Manzo does a nice job turning on it. Beltran at third, a little bit in front of the bag. No chance on the well-hit ball. As it gets into the corner on the play, Delgado easily scores. 9-0 AVC. 1-1 on Carrillo, as the Marauders have batted around in the bottom of the second. Inside for a ball. And with both of these teams slated to go again today, Emma Silva, not unlike Sarah, going to get the long stretch, as Taft will be back at it against Rio Hondo coming up. Ground ball to short, and Carrillo retired for out number 2. Manzo remains at second, and that'll bring up Holman, who got things started with a double earlier in the inning. Seven hits in the inning for the Marauders, who have put 6 on the board to open up the big lead. AVC perhaps thinking about the possibility of getting done with this one inside regulation and getting ready to play later against Rio Hondo. 1 ball and no strikes. On Holman. Holman came in batting .307. Went up with the double earlier in the inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Silva at the knees, called strike 1. 2 balls and a strike. Taft out of the Central Valley. We'll see a Rio Hondo later of the South Coast Conference as the teams take a break from the conference schedule. Cold strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Silva trying to come back. She was down in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. She's evened it up at 2-2. Breaking ball got her. Good sequence from Silva to finally get out of the inning, but the Marauders, 6 runs on 7 hits and through 2. It's all AVC. They're on top 9-0 on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Kaylee Beltran will lead things off in the top of the 3rd for Taft College, who find themselves down 9-0. They have been blitzed early by the Marauders. That one back to the screen, a ball and no strikes on Beltran. Beltran in her freshman year out of East Bakersfield High School. Just 1 sophomore on the roster for Taft College here in 2022. As Beltran goes after the rise ball, comes up empty, no balls and 2 strikes. Genesis Acosta, who is due up later in the inning, the only sophomore on the roster for Gabrielle Brixey. 2 balls and a strike. Not altogether uncommon in our coverage here in 2022 in these somewhat strange times. We've seen a few programs with a big influx of new faces. So many players having to make adjustments and figure out where they want to go and what they want to do next. And some programs have that double recruiting class after so many games were canceled over the last year or 2. So it's a young team for Taft. Outside for a ball, and for the 3rd inning in a row, Emily Serra puts the leadoff batter aboard. And obviously up 9-0, you have a little bit of leeway, but that is not a habit that's going to serve you well. Continually putting that leadoff batter aboard. So far, Serra has been able to get out of it no problem. In the first couple of innings, that'll bring up Kylie Lyons. Lyons looks to lay one down. Good bunt out in front of the plate, and Gomez goes to first, and the throw is wild. Everybody's safe. And everybody is not only safe, but is going to move up, as now another throw gets away, and Beltran is going to come all the way around and score. And this is likely going to go down as 2 errors on the play. I think The throw from Gomez, perhaps a little high. Alcantara has a little trouble coming up with it, and then Alcantara's throw is high, and I believe it was Carrillo at second who couldn't come up with it. I'm trying to figure out, I'll do the best I can with my score sheet. But if there has been an issue this season for AVC, it's certainly not at the plate. And it really hasn't been in the circle where they've been pretty solid. But Coach Vargas was pretty upfront about it early on and saying that where we have an area to improve, an area of opportunity is there have been some struggles in the field. And that the degree to which they can clean that up and become more solid, in all likelihood, is the degree to which this team can make a dent, perhaps, in the postseason. If they can get that under control, a lot of the other pieces seem to be in place. So trouble in the field, and Taft on the board on a couple of errors. Chopped foul, a ball and a strike, or I should say a ball and 2 strikes to count. Lions at second. Sarah ready. Rise ball. Up and out of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's Alicia Pomp at the plate. I mistakenly mentioned the Genesis Acosta. She is in the lineup, but not scheduled to bat with Emma Silva, both in the circle and in the lineup. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Acosta out in left field, but we're back to the top of the order with Pampa, who had a base hit her first time up. Full count. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Emily Serra. Gets the first out of the inning. 1 down. And Ariana Forthman will be the batter. Forthman comes in batting .378 on the season. A home run, 21 runs batted in. It's been a dynamic top of the order for Taft. That's one cued foul. With Forthman batting .378 and Pampa, who was retired moments ago, coming in batting .400 for a Taft team that overall bats .267. Back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes quickly on Forthman. So the stats would tell you that if the damage is going to come from Taft, it's likely to come from the top of the order. And the likes of Pampa and Forthman, who really key this offense, along with Daniker, who's due up later in the inning, coming in batting just under .340. Fouled away by Forthman. Serra out in front, no balls and 2 strikes. 1 in for Taft in the top of the 3rd. The 0-2 pitch. Low ball 1. Forthman, 90 at-bats coming in to play. 4 walks, just 2 strikeouts. So the 4 walks, that would tell you she's something of a free swinger, but just 2 strikeouts. Pretty good back control, and she can square it up, as she does here. Deep to right. It'll one-hop the wall. Forthman going to hold it first with a base hit, but on the play, Lyons comes around to score. 2 in. For Taft in the 3rd. 9-2. 1 out, a runner at first, and Alexis Garay, the batter. Gomez and Alcantara will come out to talk it over with Emily Serra. It's a good piece of hitting from Ariana Forthman. Ball out over the outside part of the plate, and Forthman with 2 strikes, able to take it the other way. And she hit it hard enough to one-hop the wall. That was a rope by Forthman. First pitch bounces into Garay. 1 ball and no strikes. Garay came in batting .244. No home runs, 8 runs batted in. Rise ball outside. They'll throw down, but Forthman with a short lead is back easily. On Garay. And Mike, okay, my screen is now just refreshed. 3-1. Bounces into Garay again. A walk to Alexis Garay. 2 on, still only 1 out, and Daniker coming to the plate. And now we'll get the full conference. And we'll see assistant coach Mike Vargas, who has worked along with Cindy for certainly a long stretch, if not the full 20 years. And Coach Cindy Vargas has been here at Antelope Valley College. And Sarah will continue. Not a big surprise there. I think they would really like it if Sarah could go the route here. You have to believe. With another game scheduled later today. And will we see most likely Madison Reiser in that game? Bunted foul. No balls and a strike on Daniker, a strikeout victim, her first time up. It's been Reiser along with Sarah and Victoria Alcantar who have handled the pitching duties for AVC here in 2022, and Alcantar is over at first. In the line today, but might see Alcantar come in and finish this one out. Again, it's a degree of speculation, but you got to believe we're going to see Maddie Reiser for a long stretch later today. That one back to the screen. Both runners will advance. Second and third. 2 balls and a strike. Now a base hit. Could plate a couple of more. Soft line drive. That's a fair ball. Just inside the line. It's a 4-run inning for Taft. Digging hard. Daniker around second. She will make it to third with a triple. Watch this one out over Alcantar. And just inside the line, it's a long run for Holman. No chance to get the runners at second and third. And Daniker thinking 3 all the way. She's running hard and makes it. And we will have a pitching change. We'll step aside and come back, tell you about the new pitcher. AVC on top of Taft, 9-4. It's Marauder Softball on SoCalCollegeSports.com. New pitcher Victoria Alcantara will move over from first, and Emily Serra will move from the circle over to first. Alcantara making her 15th appearance, her 7th in relief, her record 4-2, an ERA of 2.77 in 43 innings, 51 hits allowed, 19 walks, 60 strikeouts. First pitch to Emily Bogdanoff is in for a strike. No balls and a strike on Bogdanoff, who singled her first time up. A runner at third, one down. After AVC took a 9-0 lead, Taft has come back with 4 runs in the top of the third and looking for another if Bogdanoff can get the run in from third. Inside, ball 1 ball and 1 strike the count. And Procell in the on-deck circle. Alcantara rocks and fires. Low for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. Alcantara has the sign. Here's the 2-1. Line drive, drops in for a base hit. 9-5 the score. Bogdanoff 2 for 2 on the day. An RBI single bringing in Daniker. Quite a response from the Cougars. Might have been so easy to write this one off. Down 9-0. On the road here against the Marauders, a team playing great softball of late. Coming in on a win streak themselves. But Taft showing all kinds of fight. 5 on the board. They're back in. First side call. Well, it started with a couple of miscues in the field for AVC. Swing and a miss. Procell down the count. No balls and 2 strikes. But you can't simply only look that far, because Taft has done a great job of taking full advantage with and a walk since then. So it's one thing to give a team additional opportunities with miscues and mistakes, but you have to take advantage, and you got to give Taft all kinds of credit, because when the opportunity presented itself, they followed, come up with 3 more hits. And it was a 9 game. Now it's 9.
Two gone here in the top of the third. 5 across for the Cougars of Taft. Huge response for Taft after giving them 6 in the bottom of the second. Pitching change, Alcantara in the circle now for the Marauders. The 1-0 in there for strike 1, 1-1. Mike Cepeda just starting off with you on today's coverage. CCCAA softball from Lancaster on the campus of Antelope Valley College. Windy day here in the high desert, and that one launched into left field. 4-base hit. That went off the bat of Emma Silva. So Silva helping her own cause. Runners now first and second, 2 gone, top of the third. It's going to bring up Kaylee Beltran.
Next for the Cougars, playing third base, number 9, Kaylee Beltran.
Just after the Marauders batted around in their half of the second, now Taft has batted around in the top of the third. Snap, throw down. Runners back, no balls and a strike on Beltran. Walked to get this inning started. Alcantara ready, the 0-1 pitch. Rise ball blew it by her. No balls and 2 strikes on Beltran. Beltran came in batting .200 on the season. No home runs, 9 runs batted in. 0-2 pitch. Off the end of the bat. Slow roller. It's going to be a race to the bag. And Manzo covering. And the Marauders out of the inning. But not before. A big inning for the Cougars with 5 runs on the board, taking advantage of a couple of errors. And 4 hits themselves. We head to the bottom of the third, 9-5. AVC on top of Taft on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Victoria Alcantara will lead things off in the bottom of the third in what has suddenly become a close game. Back to a 4-run game at 9-5 after the Cougars put a 5 spot on the board in the top of the inning. Alcantara, a successful sacrifice her first time up. 1 ball, no strikes, and you see the wind howling out to right center field. Off speed, over for a strike, a ball and a strike on Alcantara. Victoria Alcantara out of Apple Valley High School in Apple Valley in her freshman year. 1-1. Breaking ball outside, 2 balls and a strike. You see that good sliding action from the right-hander Silva on the breaking ball. Moves away from hitters, and the Marauders have done a good job so far of laying off that pitch off the outside corner. Rise ball high for a ball, 3 balls and a strike on Alcantara, to be followed by Gomez, and then the top of the order, Ariel Nieto. Outfield shading Alcantara the opposite way. Outside for a ball. Tough assignment in the circle today, as Mike Cepeda alluded to earlier, with the wind blowing out. And Silva has had a struggle against this AVC lineup, working into the third inning. Puts Alcantara on, and that'll bring up Gomez, who singled her first time up. First pitch. Back toward the circle. Silva's throw down to second, not in time. That's a great jump from Alcantara at first. Silva thinking second all the way. And you see, that's a great job going to the center field camera. I don't think there's any question, but Alcantara gets there by a half a step. So Gomez at first, in what to me should go down as a fielder's choice nonetheless. Runners at first and second. Change up. And Daniker can't find it. And Alcantara finally breaks for third and will make it. So it should go down as a passed ball. But it was right there for Daniker, but she couldn't find it. And quickly, the Marauders have runners at second and third, nobody out, looking to answer back immediately. Rise ball high. 2 balls, no strikes on Nieto, who's already had a big day at the plate. 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Ariel came in batting .393 on the season. She's up over 400 with the 2 hits. Inside, again gets away, but runners stay put. 2 balls and no strikes on Nieto. Silva from the wind. Fly ball, it'll hang up in center. Lyons is there, but it will be deep enough to bring home Alcantar. Sacrifice fly for Nieto. AVC immediately able to answer back with a run and push the lead back out to 5 at 10-5. Well, here's where the wind can hurt you a little bit. This is a ball that might be trouble on another day, but it's going to carry. Well into center field. Lyons able to get there to make the catch. Alcantar able to tag and score. And the score now 10-5. That'll bring up Johnson. Goes after the first pitch, swing and a miss. No balls and a strike on Johnson. A walk and a single and 2 trips. Gomez at second with 1 down. Another swing and a miss. A couple of off-speed pitches from Silva to Johnson. And let's see what they do with a count of no balls and 2 strikes. Silva ready. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball toward first. They'll get Johnson on the play. Gomez able to advance to third. 1 down. And Cervantes will be the batter. Let's give you one more look at this one. It's a good job by Johnson in this situation with 1 down. 2 strikes. Want to at least be able to advance the runner. Now any kind of a hit will bring home another run. 2 down. Runner at third, Cervantes the batter. She's homered and singled. 5 runs batted in the game. Cervantes came in batting .506, and she's 2 for 2. The average has gone up. Line drive, right center, make it 3 for 3. Cervantes digging hard, and she'll make it to second. Another run batted in for Savannah Cervantes. Man, oh man. 44 hits and 84 at-bats for Savannah Cervantes on the season. And you go back to last inning and the at-bat for Forthman and a good piece of hitting. And that a carbon copy for Cervantes. That ball's on the outside corner and at the knees, and the only way you can go with that ball is the opposite way. And that's exactly what Cervantes did. Driving it to right center. The lead is back to 6 at 11-5. Nayeli Delgado is the batter. She's 1 for 2, singled and struck out. Tails inside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. And you can see, working to right-handers, that Silva works on 2 pitches. One that more of a cutter that works away from the right-hander, and then that pitch that functions more as a screwball that works into right-handers, and we've seen both. 2 balls and a strike, and the Marauders have done a good job of making Emma Silva throw strikes and then taking advantage when they've had balls that they can handle. Silva trying to get them to chase pitches outside the zone. But the Marauders won't do it, and they've been working from more favorable counts. Called strike 2, 3 balls and 2 strikes. That's so key. Part of what makes the Marauders so tough as a lineup. Generally speaking, for the high average, they don't strike out much either. Count remains full on Delgado. AVC has pushed back with a couple in the bottom of the third. And they now lead at 11-5. Delgado trying to pick up Cervantes. High for a ball. Third walk issued by Emma Silva. That'll bring up Manzo. RBI double her last time up. Amy Manzo coming in batting .263. Home run, now 12 runs batted in on the season. No balls and a strike. Denise Carrillo in the on-deck circle for AVC. In on the hands, and Manzo just fights it off. She's in a hole, no balls and 2 strikes. Manzo been swinging a hot stick of late. 5 hits and 7 at-bats in her last 2 games. And that was starting to break out of what had been a hitting slump over the last few weeks for Amy Manzo. But she's starting to get it going. Another hit today. 6 for her last 9 at the plate. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch right there. It's a pretty good indicator of the kind of day that Silva's had. That was a pretty good pitch. Not far off the outside corner with a 1-2 count. And a lot of hitters might go after that pitch. Manzo does go after that one. She's down on strikes to retire the side, but AVC answers back with a couple of runs. Another RBI for Savannah Cervantes. And we head to the 4th with AVC on top, 11-5 on SoCalCollegeSports.com. Kylie Lyons set to lead things off in the top of the 4th, to be followed by Alicia Pampa and Ariana Forthman against right-hander Victoria Alcantar. Marauders with 11 on the board through 3, and they lead at 11-5. Rise ball high, 1 ball, no strikes on Lyons, I should say, who reached on an error her first time up. 1-0 from Alcantar. Slow curve over for a strike. A ball and a strike on Lions. Came in batting 127 on the season. No home runs, 7 runs batted in. Alcantar kicks and deals. Blew the fastball by her. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We saw the slow curve. And now Alcantar goes right back to the gas. 1-2 on Lions. A freshman out of Pahrump High School in Pahrump, Nevada. Wave and a miss. Back to the breaking ball. This one back to the screen. Gomez with the throw down. And we'll watch here from behind. Did we see this one on the play there? It looks like the throw was not in time. So this is going to be the third strike. And a third error. That's a tough break for AVC. And the leadoff batter for the 4th consecutive inning is on. And there you see from the other angle. We didn't quite get to last time, but shows you that the throw just a little bit wide, but it was going to take a strike from Gomez to have any chance to get Lions getting down to first. So a runner on the error. And that'll go back to the top of the order with Pompos 1 for 2. Inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Alicia Pampa. Alcantar has to regroup, go back to work. Thought she had 1 down and bases empty, and instead it's a runner on. Still nobody out. A ball and a strike on Pampa. Mentioned the hot bat of Amy Manzo of late. How about Alicia Pampa in the last 2 games? 7 for 8 at the plate. Couple of runs batted in. Mentioned that Taft as a team, 3 straight wins. Lined right to second. This is going to be another double play. Manzo positioned well, and Lions a little bit off the bag, and not best. Watch here as Pampa lines it to the right side, and not much chance as Lions strays too far. That erases the base runner, 2 down. And it'll bring up Forthman. First pitch swinging on the right side. Manzo will go to first to retire the side. No runs, no hits, 1 error. Nobody left on base. Heading to the bottom of the 4th. AVC on top, 11-5. Bottom of the 4th. Carrillo to be followed by Trinity Holman. And Victoria Alcantar. First pitch popped up right side. Moving in. It's Bagdanoff for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. In the bottom of the 4th. AVC on top, 11-5. That'll bring up Holman. A double and a strikeout and 2 trips. Holman came in batting .307. 1 down, base is empty. Do have a new pitcher. Breaking ball over for a strike. No balls and a strike. It's Alexis Garay, who will move into the circle. And we'll set the defense behind you as well as Garay. Well, no, she was the designated player, so Garay just moves into the circle. And there is a look at Trinity Holman out of Highland High School. A ball and a strike, the count. As Garay takes over on the mound for Emma Silva, who goes 3 innings and departs with Taft trailing this one 11-5. Long break for Holman, but she's ready. Here's the 1-1, and you can see the wind really kicking up in Lancaster. Garay bounces it in, 2 balls and a strike. And there was something that Holman was discussing briefly and couldn't quite get what that was about.
She took a practice swing and hit the catcher.
Oh, okay. And 2 balls and a strike. Rise ball high, 3 balls and a strike, and the wind can create even difficulty getting it back to the circle.
Yeah, actually, Jeff, the practice swing there from Holman, it caught Daniker on the hand. And I wonder if that might have an effect the rest of the ball game.
Well, Holman aboard with a walk, 1 down, 1 on, and that'll bring up Alcantar. And yeah, you can see Daniker looking at that right hand and shaking it out. Well, the last throw looked pretty good coming back, but that can't be fun. Well, what do we always say, Mike? It's not a SoCal broadcast until a catcher on one or both teams gets beat up somehow back there. Something always happens. They're always taking something. Tough position, 1 ball, no strikes. Alcantar, no official at bat. Successful sacrifice and a walk and 2 trips. She's taken over and steadied the ship in the circle after Emily Serra had some struggles in the 3rd inning. A ball and a strike. Now trying to help the Marauder cause at the plate. Alcantar on the season, batting .436, 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. The 3 home runs in just 55 at bats. So she represents significant danger. Off speed, over for a strike, a ball and 2 strikes. And particularly on a day like today, you get a ball in the air to center field or right field, you got a pretty good chance. I don't think I could get one out of there, but it really takes someone like me to not be able to get one out if you get one in the air. Off the end of the bat, but it'll hang up in right field. Bagdanoff there for out number 2. But these hitters, no question about it, Mike. You hit one hard at all to center or right, you got a real chance to take it out of here.
Up next for the Marauders.
And that'll bring up Gomez. Gomez 1 for 2. Singled, reached on a fielder's choice. As it stands right now, AVC 1 run away from possibly getting to that 7-run margin where they might be able to get the win inside of the 7-inning time frame. 1 ball, no strikes. Popped up, center field. In the air, and Lyons there to take it for the out. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left on base. We're heading to the fifth. 11-5 AVC. It's Marauder Softball, SoCalCollegeSports.com. Top of the fifth inning from Lancaster, and Alexis Garay set to lead things off, with the Marauders leading it 11-5. Alcantar back in the circle. First pitch, just high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes on Garay. Struck out and walked in 2 trips. It'll be Garay, Daniker, and Bogdanov. For Taft, outside, 2 balls and no strikes on Garay. Garay batting .244 on the season. No home runs, 8 runs batted in. Alcantar ready. Ground ball right side. And Sarah going to go to first for the out. 1 down. That'll bring up Daniker. Daniker, a 2-run triple her last time up. Part of that 5-run third inning for Taft that helped get them back in the game after they trailed at 9-0. The lead now 11-5. First pitch from Alcantar. In for a strike. No balls and a strike. Chop back to the circle, and Alcantar will go to first. 2 down. Alcantar settling into a groove. She has retired 6 straight. Came on to replace Emily Serra in the 3rd inning. Got out of that inning. And she has settled things down here in the 4th and the 5th. 2 down. Base is empty, and Bogdanov will be the batter. Emily Bogdanov having an excellent day at the plate. 2 for 2. First pitch swung on, line foul. Bogdanov with a couple of hits today. Now on a 4-game hit streak. She's 5 for 12 over that stretch. No balls and a strike. And Bogdanov stands in. Alcantar ready. Here's the 0-1. Tails inside for a ball and a strike. Bogdanov came in batting .229. No home runs, a couple of runs batted in on the season. In her freshman year out of Stockdale High School in Bakersfield. Just gets a piece. A ball and 2 strikes now. As Bogdanov was fooled on the breaking ball by Alcantar. In warm, windy conditions in Lancaster, we've already seen the wind be a factor, both in terms of the ball carrying in the outfield, but some trouble even handling high pop-ups on the infield and the outfield. Challenging conditions for both teams. Here's the 1-2. Blew it by her. Called strike 3, or I should say strike 3 swinging. As Bogdanov down on strikes. Go back to the fastball. Good sequence from Alcantar, who has faced the minimum the last 2 innings. We head to the bottom of the 5th. AVC on top, 11-5. Ariel Nieto will lead things off against Alexis Garay in the bottom of the 5th. Marauders looking for their 6th straight win. A win here would move their record to 22-8 on the season. Off-speed high for a ball. Nieto still perfect on the day, 2 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Single and a double. Has helped key this offense. 11 on the board. Ground ball through for a base hit. Nieto on again. 3-hit day for Ariel Nieto. And AVC with a runner on to lead off the bottom of the 5th. And if the Marauders can bring home a run here, that would wrap up Game 1. A reminder, doubleheader coverage here today. We'll be back at 2 o'clock for Game 3 of the day when the Marauders return to action. They'll be taking on Rio Hondo. 1-0 on Haley Johnson. Johnson 1 for 2 with a walk, a couple of runs scored. Talked about the daily double at the top of the order for Taft. Pretty good daily double for AVC with Nieto and Johnson all season long. 2 balls and no strikes. Nieto came in batting .393. That average is going up. And Johnson, the left-handed bat in the 2 spot, came in batting .300, and she's way out in front, 3 balls and no strikes. Haley Johnson also represents the primary threat in terms of speed with 9 stolen bases on the season. Called strike, and Johnson will have to go retrieve the bat. Thought she was aboard, not so fast. 3 balls and a strike on Johnson. Chopper. It's going to just head foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That sounded like it got part of the plate. I'm surprised this was waved off right away. But we'll get a good look at it here, and Good decision.
Shades
Fourth
of
man
last
down
week.
at first base.
Shades of last week's story with the men's game. Walk-off bunt.
Absolutely. That one hung on the line. Popped up, playable. And Beltran has it for out number 1. Well, Johnson was way out in front, 3 balls and no strikes. That's a great job by Garay to come back, get it to 3-2, and then get the pop out on Johnson. And that'll bring up Savannah Cervantes. 3 for 3 on the day, a single, a double, and a homer. 6 runs batted in. And a chance to cap off what would be an enormous day at the plate and maybe get the Marauders out of here with 1 swing. Low for a ball. This will be the first chance for Cervantes to work against Garay, who's come on to replace Emma Silva in the circle for Taft. 1 ball, no strikes. Garay ready. In for a strike. 1-1 on Cervantes. Now hitting well over 500 on the season. Well, Savannah Cervantes. She was hitless in their last game for AVC. That broke a 7-game hit streak. Pop up on the infield again. This time it's Pampa who will take it. The throw to first, not in time. But they finally get Cervantes. 2 down. And that'll bring up Delgado.
Tricky ball.
And good job by Garay working away. Both pitchers have come on. Talked about Alcantara coming on and settling things down for AVC, but Garay has come on and held AVC scoreless in the 4th, and now has 2 down here as she works in the 5th with nothing on the board. So Alexis Garay has done a tremendous job coming on for Emma Silva. Delgado stands in, lifted to right, Bagdanoff waiting for it, and it gets away from Bagdanoff.
This might do it.
This is going to roll back to the wall.
Game over.
And on the play, Nieto's going to come all the way around and score. What a crazy play, Mike. And again, I think it speaks to just how difficult it is for the outfielders dealing in these high winds, because that was an imminently playable ball for Bagdanoff, who appeared to be there. And the ball just keeps on carrying, and you imagine there's more velocity as that ball comes down, and Bagdanoff just handcuffed by it, and it gets away, and AVC comes back to take the 12-5 lead. Inside for a ball.
Now, Jeff,
1 ball, no strikes.
If memory serves, the mercy rule is seven runs. Is that correct, or do we play through the 5th?
Well, I have the feeling, I always thought it was 7 as well, but they might be playing till the end of the inning and then calling it. There, well, let's hang here for a second and see what happens. That was my understanding of the rule as well. A ball and a strike, the count on Manzo. Well, that's a tough way to finish it if it goes that way for Taft, as in these pretty terrible conditions, they had been pretty solid in the field. But Bagdanoff just handcuffed by that one. Into left for a base hit. That's going to be an RBI single for Amy Manzo. Her 2nd run batted in of the game. And that will do it, as it's 13-5. So we might have just been 1 run off. It'll be a final in 5 innings, AVC on top of Taft, 13-5. And Michael, we're going to sign off, I imagine, here soon. I know we're going to rejoin at 2 o'clock for Game 3, but do you want to come back on and take this one out with me here as AVC moves it to 6 in a row with an impressive win here over Taft in Game 1 of our coverage today, a 13-5 win.
Yeah, Jeff, this was a game where AVC really coming in, I think, with a chip on their shoulder. This is a team that's really been kind of dogged by the rankings, and, about a week ago, they weren't even in the top 20 in the state in the 3C2A, and I think they're looking to make a statement here today. You see a big 1st and 2nd inning. Pitching gets a little shaky in the 3rd, but they come back strong, get it done in 5, and now we move on to 2 p.m.
Yeah, where they will have a significant challenge with a Rio Hondo team that comes in with a record of 18-9. So if the chip is on the shoulder, there's a chance coming up at 2 o'clock for them to make a real statement, as well as they will look for their 7th win in a row. And we will rejoin you at 2 o'clock for that game. Once again, the final score 13-5 here in Game 1 AVC over Taft. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you at 2 o'clock. So long.
This broadcast is brought to you by Fonder Solari, Hunter Dodge to the West, BHE Renewables, and AES. Special thanks to Tom Gang, Athletic Director and Dean of Athletics here at Antelope Valley College, Mike and Cindy Vargas, Byron Devers, Sports Information Director here at AVC. We'll see you at 2 o'clock, everyone. Thanks for watching.